Since we last talked, we actually had a shooting right here in my hometown of Dallas, Texas. Not only is it a shooting, it's another political shooting. Let's watch this next video and then I'll give you my thoughts after. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. With that being said, let's get this started.
Start where it all unfolded around 6:40 a.m. Kevin Reese is live outside the facility along 35 near Mockingbird Lane. The suspect fired from a nearby rooftop, but Kevin, there's still a lot to learn.
There is a lot to learn, but there are a lot of things that we do know tonight, including this location, the location of the sniper's nest, this three-story building behind me, an immigration attorney's office. He was on the rooftop, giving him an unobstructed view of his targets. Early Wednesday afternoon, the FBI removed evidence from the roof of an immigration attorney's office where they found the shooter dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Google Earth gives us the early morning vantage point he had. From the roof of the three-story building, he had a clear line of sight estimated at 500 feet, nearly 2 football fields, to the back of the ICE building.
Just be advised, it's still active shooter. There's a sniper on the roof. Have everybody stay for very, very far locations.
Video from 8TV shows where the bullets hit. Investigators taking pictures of the back of a transport van on the southwest side of the ICE building. Photos obtained by WFAA also show bullet holes inside the ICE building in a framed picture of the American flag.
He would shoot, he would wait 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds, he would shoot.
The FBI says the bullets hit a transport van with ICE detainees inside, killing 1 and critically injuring 2 more.
He was targeting people. He wasn't just randomly shooting, he was actually targeting his targets and making sure he was getting hits.
Early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature.
In fact, the FBI released this photo showing the exact words anti-ICE scrawled on shell casings found on the roof. Despite that, no law enforcement personnel were hurt. But they are emphatic about bringing days like this to an end.
The takeaway from all of this is that the rhetoric has to stop. It's dangerous, and people are losing their lives.
In Dallas, I'm Kevin Reese.
And one of the big questions that still needs a definitive answer is why?
This shooting is getting a lot of attention for a lot of reasons. So as you heard, 3 detainees were shot. One of them, unfortunately, did not survive. Now, one of the things that has been very apparent is the conflicting reports that have been coming out early. Some of them you heard in this last video. On one hand, you have witnesses saying that this was a very targeted, precise attack, that Joshua, the shooter, had very precise targets. And then on the other hand, you have people saying that he was just spraying and that this was a very clear attack on ICE. And this becomes important because we get conflicting views on what the motives from the shooter were. And if these reports aren't true, now we're going to have to start talking about a cover-up. I'm going to get into some of those reasons why here in a second, but watch this next video from Vice President J.D. Vance.
We're all mourning and rooting for and praying for everybody who was injured at that ICE facility. And as far as we know, it looks like some of the detainees, in other words, some of the potential illegal aliens, were some of those who were affected. Look, just because we don't support illegal aliens, we don't want them to be executed by violent assassins engaged in political violence either. So we're praying both for our ICE agents, but also for everybody who's affected by this terrible attack. But that was an ICE facility. And as these guys behind me know, and a few of our police officers know, police officers writ large face too many threats of violence all across the United States of America.
So we have the vice president talking about this being an attack on ICE agents. Early reports said that this was an anti-ICE attack. At the time of this recording, Kash Patel, the FBI director, recently released what he's calling a series of loose notes written by Joshua John. And in those notes, Kash Patel says that Joshua John was intending to cause, quote, real terror among ICE agents. The U.S. Attorney for the North District of Texas, Nancy E. Larson, says that Joshua John called ICE agents, quote, people showing up to collect a, quote, dirty paycheck. The FBI also released these photos of the ammunition that Joshua John was using. And as you can see, written on one of the sides of the bullets are the words anti-ICE. So on the surface, this looks like a very clear-cut situation. We have a scenario that someone has a copycat situation from the Charlie Kirk shooting who has a motive to cause real terror amongst ICE agents. But there's a lot of people on the other side, including Joshua John's friends and family, that are saying that this is a bunch of BS. No one's saying that Joshua John wasn't the shooter, but a lot of people are questioning the reports that are coming out about Joshua John and the motives behind the shooting. As a matter of fact, Joshua John's family came forward and said not only did he not hate ICE, but also he wasn't a part of the radical left. And for some people, they're saying that this makes sense because the 3 people who were shot were all illegal immigrants. Joshua's friends came forward and said that he wasn't political at all, that he was basically a gamer and just kept to himself. And they said that as a matter of fact, he was the least most political amongst all the friend group. And there's also people online coming forward saying that this is a bunch of BS as well. Watch this next video.
I'm calling another FBI cover-up, guys. The bullets today found with the ICE shooting from the sniper said anti-ICE on them, but he went after immigrants. So you're telling me you want me to believe that the FBI didn't find the bullets after they knew the immigrants were shot and inscribed them themselves? This is red flag all over it. Another cover-up incoming.
So let me get this straight. There was a shooting today in an ICE facility in Dallas, Texas, and the 3 victims were ICE detainees. Yet the officials in Texas are saying this was an attack against ICE due to more bullet castings that have anti-ICE engravings on them. Yet the victims were 3 detainees. So how were the ICE officers the ones that were targeted if they aren't the victims? I don't understand that. Anyway, yeah, that's really odd.
So man, what is going on? Not only with all these shootings, but also could the FBI be actually writing things on bullets? Are they writing notes on behalf of people to stage a scenario, to create a narrative where it's one group versus another group? Honestly, I hope not. Because if we not only have political shootings, but we also have the FBI creating narratives, man, we got some scary times ahead of us. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you want to get caught up on some other videos I've done, make sure you check out the playlist down below.